Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Alinga Sise of Urban Harvest Organic Farm. For those who are new, please let's consider subscribing. Click on that notification bell so that you never miss out any upload. Today I am so happy that we are in our day 5 of the brooding, and I want us to enter the farm together. It is already 8, but you know it was raining throughout. It started raining at around 4 in the morning until now that at least it has stopped, and I've not yet entered the farm. Can you imagine? It's already 8, but I've not entered into the farm, and I'm very sure that the birds are okay because last night I had set up everything, and I'm very sure they are okay. So I want us to open that farm and we enter together in that farm. But before we do that, I want us to look at my maize. See at the background. See, the maize is really doing so well, so well. I'm very sure we are going to harvest some good maize from here. This is where my farm was, where I destroyed. You can see the maize is super green and really very, very healthy. Very healthy. So, I want us to enter our farm and we see how the birds are doing. Wow, see the birds? They are really doing so well. Let's look for one, maybe this. So the birds are really doing super well. I don't see any that is down, and we are still at 0 mortality. And today is day 5 of our brooding, and I'm really so happy. Let me first put on my stockings, my gloves, and we start on from there. Wow, the birds are doing so well. The pot no longer have any fire inside, but the house is warm enough and the birds are really doing so well. So please stay tuned. Let's start farming. Now I'm inside the farm and no bird is down. Everybody here is very lively. And I can see even their feathers have started coming out. The birds are really looking so good. And I'm just so grateful that we are still at 0 mortality. Even the other baby chick that had a problem with the feet, I think it has healed. I don't know whatever has happened, but I don't even see it. There was one that in day 2 I saw it was kind of down. I don't know whether also because of transportation, but guys, all the birds are now very okay. There is nobody here which is having any problem. We are still at 0 mortality. The house is super good. So today I want us to learn something which is very important, and that is some of the mistakes that we do during brooding. Well, these mistakes some of them are really simple mistakes, but you find that it really counts a lot. So I want us to look at some of these simple mistakes. For someone who is planning to do this project, must know it, must be aware of it. And okay, even some people who are already doing it, they must be aware of it. So that's why I said today, in our day 5 of brooding, let us learn some of the mistakes to avoid when we are doing brooding. And mistake number 1 is if you look, okay, let me go straight to the point. Mistake number 1: avoid pouring water into your brooder. Here, what I mean is, it might not be your intention that water must pour inside your brooder, but you find that I want us to look inside our brooder. If you see inside my brooder, it is typically very dry, very dry. You can look down here. I have not yet put in coffee ask. I want them to reach 1 week, then I put coffee ask. But you can see my brooder is really typically dry. Simply because I'm always very careful when I'm putting the water inside. You see, these drinkers, these small ones, it's somehow a bit tricky to use it. You can turn upside down and you find that here is not well locked down here, and you find yourself pouring water in the old brooder. A brooder which is wet is not good, because that is how we normally entertain coccidiosis in our farms. You find that by the time it is reaching, the birds are reaching 1 week in the brooder, they're already having coccidiosis, simply because the brooder is really too wet. So always make sure that your brooder is dry, and make sure that the water is not pouring. That even you can say I've tried to support these drinkers, because here is a bit slanting down. So if you can see this, all the drinkers have put those papers. I've just tried to support to make sure that the drinkers are in the same level, because if they are not in the same level, there's a way that to tend to be bending and water will be one side, and you find when the baby chicks are taking the water is pouring inside the brooder, and that is not right. So avoid wet brooding house rooms. It is not good. And then another thing that I want you farmers to avoid, or whoever is interested in this project, if you look at how I've put my pot, I've put a charcoal stove down and I've put the pot up on top. Why? Because you see these baby chicks, now they have started growing up. They are really now very stubborn. Very soon they will start flying. If this pot is down, before you realize, you find that some of the chicks have flew inside and the birds have died inside. I've lost so many birds in my previous brooding, and that's why I've decided to put the pot is supposed to be somehow raised, and make sure that the birds cannot be able to fly inside the pot. So that is how you're supposed to make it. Even you see that sometimes the birds are piled down there. So if the pot is somehow down, you find that even to burn the birds. So make sure that the pot in your brooding house is a bit raised. Any source of it should be a bit raised, that the birds will not start flying. You see them. Have you seen how they have started flying? But very soon you see they can fly even up. So if the source of heat is down on the floor, even it can burn the brooding peppers, or even this. Now, like here, I've used some of this wood. Find that you can even burn it. So those are some of the few mistakes that you may not realize that it is a problem, but later you've just realized when the mistake is already done and the damage is already done. And then also another mistake that some of us farmers do, our brooding houses should be without corners. You see how the birds are piling in the corner. Make sure the corners, okay, it's not easy to avoid the corners, but make sure it's not a sharp corner. If you see how mine is, it's not sharp, because if it is a sharp corner, those ones that are inside there, you'll find that they are the ones to die first, because the rest of the birds go and pile on them, and they are the ones to die. So always avoid sharp corners in your brooding houses. And then another thing that we must also avoid is which one is that making noise? I've talked of avoiding people entering your brooding house. If it is one person doing it, please let us leave that person to be the one to do the brooding. Like me here, I'm the only one who does the brooding. I'm only here alone, and no one else, because to avoid some of these diseases inside our farm. And then also, if we talk about the aeration, one of my audience asked me, one of my subscribers said, but I can see the brooding house is so enclosed, like there is even no source of fresh air for the birds. But if you can look up here, there is that opening. I've just covered it with the chicken mesh, but it is the one providing us fresh air. I've left it open, and the birds are very okay. Then also at the door, you find that I have some openings. You can see I have openings there, except this downer one, which I normally close it when I'm going to bed, because to avoid the rats from coming inside. But so always make sure your brooding house has also some aeration for the birds. Most times the house is supposed to be hot, but make sure there is some where fresh air can come, from. So that is what I have tried to do. Here, and then also make sure that the feeders always have feeds. You see, last night I filled up my feeders. I didn't put it totally full, at least was so you can see it is. I've come inside late, but still the birds have the feeds. So you can see all the feeders. At least has feeds inside. You can see, and the birds are feeding, well. And then also another mistake that some of us farmers do, that I want you who is still new not to do, is about this source of heat. Now for me here, I'm using this pot and charcoal. You find that after putting your charcoal inside the pot, sometimes some of this charcoal is not well burnt. So you end up having a smoky house. A brooding house should not be smoky. So you find that the smoke is everywhere, and that is really not good for that. But that is when few days later you will start hearing your birds coughing, your birds will be suffocating, your birds will surely, even you as a human being, if you stay in a smoky place, you know how it feels. So whenever you've put your charcoal or any source of heat inside your pot, or you've basically like charcoal that I use, whenever you put it inside the pot, please, you can go away to do other things, but within a few minutes come back to check how it is doing. If you find that it is too smoky for the birds, the house, because you find that the house becomes very smoky, the birds are suffocating, and the smell is even irritating for you the farmer. So if it is smoky like that, maybe if you cannot carry that pot because it is now too hot, just open up the door, make sure the smoke get out. That's why I say it is good to also have good aeration somehow, because much as they should be warm inside, but at least some source of fresh air also should be there. Open up the door and make sure the smoke get out. And even the charcoal that you're going to use for your brooding, please make sure it is not the ones which is not well burnt and that brings a lot of smoke all the time, because those are some of the things that affect our birds and make these birds fall sick. Of course, let's keep the water clean, as I've said before, and let's make sure that the water that you have put the previous day, the next day, even if it is still there, please tend to change it and let that one, pour it off, clean the drinkers, and put clean water. And then even these drinkers, I was going to forget, these drinkers, whenever you're washing, cleaning them, we are not advised to use soap. We are always advised to just use the thing for cleaning it and just clean it well, or even still wire clean it well, and you leave it like that. We are not advised to use soap on these drinkers. You just have to clean it with fresh water, clean water, and you leave it like that. So for today, that is some of the few things that I felt that you should know. Some of these mistakes, some of them are really very simple. Even you may not think it is a problem, but it is a problem. It turns out to be a problem. So please, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to click on that subscription button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click on the notification bell, share this video. Please give me a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like this video. Please tell me which country you're watching me from, and I'll be so grateful. See you next time. Bye bye.